Alright, so a bit of different setting today. I'm not at studio, I'm actually at my home, as you can hear. It's not as acoustical treated as the studio. Behind me is my workbench. And today I will show you how I revision, maintain or something else my equipment. And this is a summer from the new console. It's got 18 of them, no, wait, it's got more. It's got like 23 of these and it needs them all. So we're going to take a look inside and I will show you what I will replace and what I will do in terms of revision. So first of all, let's take a look at the equipment I'm using. So this is my workbench and let's walk through it from the right to the left. There's one rule: a workbench will never get organized and you will also never have enough space. Over here I have one of the modules I'm working on, and this is an example. I already did this one, as a trained eye maybe can see, because these are new Panasonic capacitors, and that's one of the things you can recognize a recapped unit from. Next on the bench is my Weller soldering iron. Nope, it won't focus on the tip. Then over here I've got my ERSA desoldering iron, which is pretty interesting. A desoldering iron is actually a soldering iron with a hole in it, and it's got a vacuum pump to suck the solder out of a hole. So this makes things a lot easier. Then we have all components that we are not going to use anymore. We've got some measurements devices, really simple ones, nothing special. And we have a power supply set to 24 volts. And we also have got set the current limiter set very tight to make sure that we won't damage anything by incident or something. Then over here is my scope. I don't use it that often, only if I'm really looking for problems. Not looking for problems, looking at problems. And all components that I need or might need. Some solder and a really handy and simple component tester, which I think I just broke. But well, I still have 4 of these, so. Alright, so let's open this thing up and see what we get. Ah, looks pretty decent from the first look. We don't have any rust in here, we don't have any nasty things. Yeah, of course the outside is a bit rusty. Switches aren't in the best condition, but yeah, I will be able to fix that. This one runs a lot smoother already. So let's look at the back and see how that one looks. Also pretty nice, but we can see that there has been somebody with a hobby who has added a few things to this thing, I think. Yeah, don't know what I should think about that, but okay. So, transformer looks pretty good also, no rust, nothing. So, this is a good candidate to recap and yeah, to show you what I would do. So, if we look in here, we've got actually a few main parts, which are the resistors, transistors and capacitors. And also some diodes over here, but they are not important. First of all, resistors shouldn't need replacing. If you need to replace a resistor, then they will also have a problem somewhere else in your circuit. From the looks of it, a resistor, there isn't a resistor in here that looks burned, so that should be good. Then transistors. Transistors will sometimes fail, but mostly because of a problem somewhere else, because of a short circuit, way too high current or something like. We can measure these silver cap transistors pretty easily by applying a voltage to the input and just putting our measuring pen on top of it. Pretty easy. You don't have that in modern electronics, so that's pretty easy. I hope we don't need to replace the transistors. They are actually pretty rare and also getting pretty expensive. Then the main part, the most important part, are the capacitors. And we've got 3 types of capacitors in here. We've got electrolytic ones, we've got the special audio grade Rudensteiners, which are actually pretty great, but not if they are 60 years old. And we've got tantalum, some kind of these green and red dots. So I'm going to replace the electrolytic, Rudensteiner and the tantalums on the spots where they make sense to replace. Tantalums do have a special sound character and a special freshness to it, and I only want to replace them in the spots where they can cause problems, because I don't want any problems with this console. So I'm replacing most of them, and if we compare it to our example, you can see where the tantalums are still in and where they are being replaced. For the capacitor values, I've chosen to go one step higher for every capacitor. Back in the days, people were using lower value capacitors. They were really on the edge because a higher value was more expensive. Right now, it doesn't really matter which size or which value capacitor you take. They are roughly the same price. And by upgrading all capacitors to a higher value, we will get a better sound and better response in the low frequencies. So let's start desoldering, and I'm first desoldering everything that needs desoldering, and then I'm soldering everything in. That's of course logical, is it? And there's the first one. Alright, and this is what it looks like right now. I don't think it will work right now, so let's put in some new capacitors. I've got two different types. I've got these golden ones. These are for the audio path. These are special audio circuits. And we also have normal black and white ones. These are for the power supply circuit. And in their position, really important to look at the minus sign, because if you use them the other way around, they will explode. It's just as simple as that. Let's bend the pins in a way that they will fit in there. So like something like that. And let's just simply stuff the whole board with new components. Then the last thing to do is actually pretty simple. Cutting off all the lead ends. And I actually have a way too big cutter, but that's because I've lost my small and precise one. But we need to cut them off, because otherwise we will get short circuits. And there you have it, a completely newly recapped module. So this was pretty simple. I do have over there a whole pile, like over there, a whole pile of modules that aren't functioning. And those are more interesting. But I think that is something for another video, and maybe even for another channel, maybe Great Scott or something. So that being said, I want to thank you for watching this like YT Studios special kind of thing. If you like this video, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Also consider supporting me on Patreon over here and checking out my other videos over here. For now, I want to say thanks for watching and bye bye.